Most people are using AI like fancy search engines. They type a question, they get an answer, they maybe copy it, yet they only uncovered 5% of what AI could do. So here's the problem. They skipped the foundation. They went straight to the tools without understanding what the tools are actually doing. So in this video, that's what we're fixing. And I'm going to show you this live on screen on how this applies in the real world. No list of 47 tools, no hype, no filter. This is exactly what we're covering in this video. Section 1 is what's happening under the hood when you talk to ChatGPT or Claude. You need to know this before anything else makes sense. Section 2 is prompting, the single skill that separates people who get useful output from people who don't, and we will be using a live example for this. Section 3 is the AI landscape. What are the different categories of AI tools and which ones are worth your time and money? Section 4, AI agents. This is my favorite. What happens when AI stops waiting for you to prompt and goes straight into action? We will be walking through a stock trading agent using this example. Section 5, your next steps, your next 30 days. A structured plan to go from where you are now to genuinely fluent. If you want to jump ahead, timestamps are in the description. Let's get started. Okay, so before I show you any prompts or any tools, let's get down the foundation first. Because if you don't understand what's happening behind these models, chances are you're just copy and pasting random prompts that you find on Reddit and you wonder why it's working or it's not working. This 5 minutes will save you months of confusion later. So let's start off with what is a LLM. It's a large language model, which is the engine under ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, all of it. And here is what it actually is. It's literally just a machine for predictions. It was trained on hundreds of billions of words from the internet, books, code, academic papers, you name it. And from all of that, it just learned one thing. Given everything that have come before this point, what word is most likely to come next? It does this prediction billions of times, adjusting its internal weights. Think of it kind of like neurons until the prediction becomes very, very accurate. And that's the reason why it could write code, it could translate, it could structure, it could argue with reasons, all of that because it is learning the statistical patterns of language. Moving on to tokens. Tokens are the unit the model reads. So models, they aren't like humans as in we read words, right? Models, they read tokens. So one token is roughly 3 to 4 characters, or about 3/4 of a word. Think of it like a 1,000 word document. That is around 1,300 tokens. So every LM has a context window. So that is a limit on how many tokens it can hold in working memory. So GPT-4o is 128,000 tokens. Claude is 200,000 tokens. And to put that into perspective, that is around an entire code base. Meanwhile, Gemini 1.5 Pro is up to 1 million tokens. So everything inside the window the model could see, and everything outside, it's technically blind, doesn't know it exists. Now, this is something that I haven't seen anyone talk about, but I think it's good to know, and that is temperature. That is precision versus creativity. So every LM has a temperature setting, so from 0 to 100, sometimes higher. Low temperature means takes the most likely output. It's precise, it's very consistent, it's great for code, structured data, and factual answers. Meanwhile, on the high temperature end, which is like 1 or even higher, it introduces randomness. So it's more creative, it's more varied, it's great for brainstorming, writing, ideations. And most interfaces set this automatically, which is the reason why that you see that a lot of LMs are great for one particular thing. So as we all know, LMs hallucinate, and that is the official term, because the model always predicts what sounds the most plausible. It sometimes generates content that sounds very authoritative, but it's factually wrong. So as you probably heard, there's invented citations, made up API endpoints, there's incorrect statistics. So here are 3 rules that you need to keep in mind whenever you're using AI. And number 1 is never trust AI for facts that you have not verified, especially if it is those time-sensitive ones, because the training data has a cutoff date, so it might not be the most up-to-date. 2 is the more specific your input, the less the model has to fill the gaps in. So whenever you're prompting, be as specific as possible, which reduces the likeliness of the AI to hallucinate. Number 3 is treat every AI output like a first draft from a very smart colleague of yours that occasionally makes things up. Review it. Make sure that you review every single output. Don't just paste it in and call it a day. And here's the reason why this section is first. The model is a next token predictor. So the quality of your input directly impacts the quality of your output. And prompting is the fundamental interface between you and the model. And that's exactly where we are heading next. Okay, so when your prompt is hella vague, there are no context, there are no examples, no role, it will default to the most average basic answer. And that's the reason why most AI outputs feel so generic. Today, I want to show you 3 techniques to elevate your output by elevating your input, aka your prompting. So technique number 1 is surface implied context. So here's what most people write. As you can see, super vague. It just made a lot of assumptions. Okay, so now this is a way better prompt. It's a lot more detailed. It's the same model, same temperature setting. The only variable was the context. So what I added to the context of this prompt was a role, user context, so the reasons about those specific users, not the generic ones, and the specific problem. So there is less room to hallucinate. And also the business goal for why we are doing this. Give the model everything that you would give to a very smart friend of yours. Obviously, no matter how smart your friend is, your friend needs context, right? And the more details, the exemplars, anything would help better prompt this chat. Technique number two, which is few shot prompting. The model was trained to identify patterns in sequences. So make sure to show it examples of what you want. So it will pattern match and produce more. What you need to do when you start prompting is if you have examples of how you want the output to look like, make sure to feed it to the LLM. Okay, technique number three, and this is the chain of thought prompting. So LLMs reason better when you ask them to reason step by step. So for example, a client wants a full pricing page redesign recommendation. High stakes, I'm not asking the model to solve this in one shot. So here's the example. Let's walk through this step by step. Step number one is what are the three most common reasons a SaaS pricing page lost conversion? Okay. Step two, based on those, what UX elements must the redesign address? Okay. Step three, propose a layout that resolves each issue from step two. Step 4, recommend the copy hierarchy, headline, subheadline, and CTA. Do not move to the next step until the current one is complete. Submit and let it run. What this means is you are basically giving chat a list of your thought process, a list of your instructions of how to think, what to think, and how it leads to the final product without actually doing the work yourself. So here are the three techniques, and that covers 90% of professional AI use. Now, which tools should you actually apply them to? Most AI videos give you a list of 20 AI tools that you should use with no reasoning. Well, I'm going to give you 5 categories first and the best free tool in each. One tool, one job, no overlap. So category 1, which is the conversational chat AI. You talk to it directly, text in, text out. This is where the prompting lives. Best free pick will be Claude. Why Claude? Well, the free tier gives you a Claude Sonnet, which is genuinely a very capable model, not stripped down, 200,000 context whittle on a free tier. And for deep reasoning, analyzing code base, and reviewing a long document, I love Claude so much that I bought the pro plan so that I could start building things to my heart's content. So if you guys are interested in how to vibe code a website, this is a video that I made. Anyways, category number 2 is research AI. So LLMs have a training cutoff. They don't know what happened last month or literally yesterday. For anything very time sensitive, competitor moves, current pricing, recent news, you cannot trust Claude or ChatGPT. The best free pick here is Perplexity. Every answer is sourced from a live web research with citations. So the rule here is anything with latest, current, or a specific year, use Perplexity, not Claude, not Chat. Category number 3 is image AI. So for designers and developers that are pitching, visual directions, the landscape is Midjourney. This is the most common one, which is paid. There is DALL-E, there's Stable Diffusion, Firefly, Ideogram. For me, I think the best pick in terms of free tier would be Ideogram or Ideogram. It is very generous with its free tier. There is no Discord required, and particularly very strong at rendering the text inside images. So the strategy here is to generate 3 visual directions in 20 minutes before even touching Figma. Category 4, and this is Code AI. And I think I'll be very direct here. I think the 2 most common IDEs that people use is either Cursor or VS Studio Code. For me, I just like using Cursor AI more, and I integrate it with Claude Code. So that's my go-to tech stack. But everything that we've covered so far, you are in the loop. You write a prompt, the model responds, and you act on the output. One step manually triggered. Pretty good, but it does have a ceiling. An agent replaces you in the loop. So what makes something an agent? So an agent is a AI system that runs a continuous cycle. So step 1 is to perceive. It reads the data from the environment. Step 2 is to analyze. So it uses an LLM to reason. Step 3 is to decide. It determines what action to take. Step 4, they actually execute the action in the real world. Okay, and step 5 is loop. It starts all over again. And notice that step 2 is just prompting the exact skill from section 2, but the only difference is that it runs automatically and it's triggered by real world events. So let me give you an actual example. So this is something that I've been making recently. It is a stock trading agent. So in this case, step 1, perceive. The agent connects to live data sources. So I connected the stock prices from Yahoo Finance API, the financial news from Reuters RSS, and also your portfolio positions from your brokerage. So it reads these continuously, not just waiting to be asked. Then step 2 is analyze. Every time new data arrives, it sends its It sends the information to an LLM with a prompt. Here is the latest price data, new sentiment, and a portfolio snapshot. Based on these, here are my investment rules. Identify any signals that require action. So this is the chain of thought prompting running automatically on a schedule. Step 3 is to decide. So then the agent checks the model's analysis against rules you set at setup. So if a held stock drops more than 7% in 4 hours and new sentiment is negative, then flag for sale. Or such as if a waitlist stock hits target price and earnings were positive, then flag for purchase. So step 4 is act. If conditions are met, then it executes. It places the trade via your brokerage API. It logs the reasoning, sends you a Slack or an email notification with exactly what it did and why. Step 5 is loop. It starts all over again, every few minutes without you being present. Let me know if you want a video on how I built my AI agent for stock trading, and also if you want to know the results. I'm probably going to do like a 1 month challenge just to see how much my agent has been outperforming the S&P. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss that video. Okay, here's the honest thing about everything in this video. None of it becomes real without practice on real work. Information is not skill. Repetition on real task is. So I put together a free 30-day roadmap. It's a PDF. It's in the description. No email required. The people who are genuinely hard to replace with AI aren't the ones with the biggest tools. They are the ones who understand the mechanism well enough to adapt to the tool's change. And that's what this video is really about. So if this video was useful, subscribe. I'll keep making them exactly like this. PDF is in the description. And if you need anything, make sure to drop a comment. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.